views on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough.
You ready?
Come on. It's the Queen of Royal Badness.
It's time for the Rob Report with Robin Ayers.
Highlighting people and things you should know about.
Robin's got you covered. Follow Robin at Robin Ayers. You're listening to the Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Robin's got a lot to talk about.
I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead. I let all that get to my head. I don't care, I paint the town red. I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead. I let all that get to my head. I don't care, I paint the town red. She the devil, she a bad little, she a rebel.
You are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580, where we bring you the latest in entertainment news, trending topics, and interviews. I am your host, Robin Ayers, with you all Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. That's a jam right there. And I will be your eyes and ears. I will let you know that Andy is back there rocking to this song. Andy, happy Monday to you. You must feel real good.
Same to you. You know, I got to keep the energy up on a Monday.
On a Monday.
On a rainy night as well, too.
Yes, it is.
And Song of the Year, Grammy Awards, you already know.
Ooh, Song of the Year. Okay, we already have some predictions. Okay. All right. Well, yes, it is Monday, and it is cold and rainy in Los Angeles, but it's all good. You know, we keep it moving around here. We keep it warm. Andy's keeping it hot on the ones and the twos. Okay. Do people say that anymore, Andy? I'm tripping. Okay. All right. I'll fall back. Let me stay in my lane. Ain't no ones and twos. Andy, the ones and twos is what you're doing back there. No? Somebody tell me if I'm wrong or not. Andy's the ones and twos, he says, is the DJing. Okay. All right. You are DJing. Okay, let me stop. This ain't about that. Andy is doing his thing. Yeah, you guys, I see you coming up into the YouTube chat already. The Raw Squad is in the building. Again, happy Monday to all of you. If you're listening on the radio, if you are listening on our app, or if you are inside of our YouTube community, the Raw Squad over here. Good to see you all. I hope whatever you did this weekend, that you had a fantastic weekend. You got some rest and relaxation. I know I did. We are still on celebration mode. I have to give some more good news to my daughters, Madison and Brooklyn, who got accepted to another great school today. They are just so impressive to me. I was nowhere near this qualified when I was in high school to go and get my higher education. I wasn't as qualified as they are, so I'm so proud of them. Andy,
breaking generational curses.
Breaking generational curses. Y'all know we've been talking about that. Right, exactly. It's definitely not a curse because, there are family members of ours who have gone to college. My mom, by the way, is getting her PhD. Shout out, Mom. Yes. She is definitely doing her thing. And shout out to my husband, Robbie, who he was really the promoter of higher education in our family. He's the one who, that's all he talked about. He set the girls on a trajectory for college. So big ups to you, Robbie. Big ups to Madison and Brooklyn. All right. Sad news we do have to report, as you all may have known this morning. The news kind of came out this morning that civil rights and animal rights activist, attorney, and author, and the youngest son of Dr. Martin Luther King, Dexter King, has passed away, sadly, at the age of 62, so young. We definitely want to send our condolences to his family, as well as, the friends and family. Tavis himself was a really good friend of Dexter as well. So we want to send our condolences. It's really sad. I mean, he was here. We just celebrated MLK Day, so he was able to see that celebration. So we definitely want to send our condolences to his family and his friends. He will be missed, and all of his work and his legacy was not in vain. So thank you for your services, Dexter King. Not much more in, I usually say on Mondays, I come and, I come in and I have a lot of updates to give to you guys because so much happens over the weekend. But what I mean by that, there's a little caveat. Not much that I want to report. Okay. There's always things happening, but I'm not going to report just any and everything to you guys. It has to be something that the Raw Report believes in, something that I think you should know about. So not much more that we have in our updates. So we might as well just go ahead and get into the Raw Report, Andy.
Now it's time for a breakdown.
I want to know, the question for me of the day is, and Andy, feel free to tweak it if you like, but I think you'll feel me where I'm going with this. When was the last time you risked embarrassment for a life-changing opportunity? I have stories to tell. I'm going to use myself as an example. Andy, you might want to jump on the mic, tell us about your stories. And we have a wonderful contributor who I feel like is going to be so great to talk with today about these particular topics. So I'm excited to get him on the line as well. So we're going to talk about Eva Marcille and Toccara Jones. Both are models who you may have seen or known from, if you watched that show. I actually watched it and loved it. It was America's Next Top Model. I watched it for so many seasons. I really did love that show. But the two of them, they recount their own stories about how they got on that show. And it was definitely not the traditional way of what you might be thinking. So they did something for a life-changing opportunity that I wonder if now people would do because of the look of things, the look of success that you've already made it. I wonder. We'll have that conversation a little bit later. We are also going to be talking about all these stories that are targeting Black men. Y'all know I have such a love for Black people. I have a love for Black men. And women separately on our own issues. But this particular time, we're going to talk about Black men. And have we been taught to hate on each other or hate each other? Have we been taught that? Where does that come from? What is that narrative? Why do we perpetuate that narrative? We're talking about Cat Williams, of course. We're also talking about 50 Cent. People have targeted 50 Cent recently. A few other people. Marlon Wayans, we did talk about him recently where he jumped in on the conversation about Black men wearing dresses. We're going to talk about a few of those things and try to see if we can nail it. Try to see if we can get down to the bottom of it, where all this hate comes from. And of course, we have got your who's got next on, a little bit later on the show as well, and what not to miss. So we're going to get started with all of that on the Raw Report. You are listening to KBLA Talk 1580. Stay right there.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Eric Bellinger hanging out right here with my family at the Raw Report. Keep it locked.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Got me a damn girl on my team.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe we have the best tag team in morning radio. Dominique DePrima and Tavis Smiley as the first Black woman in Los Angeles to anchor a morning drive talk radio show. Dominique covers local politics like a blanket. Weekday mornings from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. At 9 a.m., Dominique passes the baton to Tavis Smiley, who talks to everybody about everything every day until 12 noon. KBLA's dynamic duo, Dominique and Tavis. It's no wonder the LA Civil Rights Department is honoring Dominique DePrima this year at its Tell Our Story honoring black journalist leaders and storytellers event, Thursday, February 8th. Or that the John M. Langston Bar Association of Los Angeles is honoring Tavis Smiley at its 47th Annual Installation and Scholarship Awards Gala with its Community Impact Award on February 10th. We couldn't be more proud of Dominique and Tavis, who make black history every day, not just in February. If you're missing Dominique and Tavis weekday mornings on KBLA Talk 1580, you're missing out. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Holla, yeah.
Taco Bell just dropped the new Cravings Value Menu. Now you can get 10 items for $3 or less, which means you can get the food you want for the price you want. It's almost like you can have your cake and eat it too. But in this case, it's a double-stacked taco from the new Cravings Value Menu. So basically, you can have your double-stacked taco and eat it too, which is a lot crunchier than cake. The new Cravings Value Menu is here. Get it at Taco Bell today. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations while supplies last. Contact store for price and participation which vary. Tax extra.
If we're the ones disproportionately impacted by these climate catastrophes, why should we be silent? Turning up the volume all year long on the climate conversation for KBLA Talk 1580.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside the Rob Report. With Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
On a side note, I did want to go ahead and say thank you so much to Andy for, bringing back to my remembrance. There were a few things that I did want to mention while I was away, as you all know, for the first couple of weeks of this year. There were a few things that I wanted to touch base on that, I feel are updates even right now. Donnie Simpson. Goodness gracious. Y'all remember Donnie Simpson. He has been in radio for a very long time, 5 decades to be exact. He is actually retiring. Did you guys watch Video Soul? That's how I found out about Donnie Simpson. Video Soul. Yeah, he had the light eyes. I don't know if you call him Hazel or not, but he was actually inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame in 2015, which is really cool. And he's been in radio for so many years in Detroit as well as Washington, D.C. And he is finally retiring. So we want to send our very special thank you for all he has done in the broadcast world. Also, we might be talking about this story very soon, hopefully very, very soon. Chris Stokes, as you all know, yeah, you may or may not know, actually. Chris Stokes is a producer. He was the founder of the group Immature. He's done a lot of things in the entertainment space, and there had been a lot of allegations about him and what he was into regarding some of the members that he had put together of the groups. And his ex-wife, Manye Morton, has come out and she's alleging that these things that had been alleged against him are in fact true. She came out recently and made these allegations. We're going to try to lock down as many pieces of this story as we possibly can. But, we'll see what happens with that in the very near future. Okay, I want to go ahead and get to our entertainment contributor, whom I was actually just speaking to not too long ago because he interviewed me. Please welcome Chris Gunther to the Raw Report. Chris Gunther, thank you so much for calling in today. How are you?
I'm doing great, Robin. Welcome back. You are definitely missed, and it's always great to hear from you. And a huge shout-out to your lovely young queens that just keep getting accepted into college. Man, y'all are so blessed, man.
Thank you.
Before we go into any of that, we got to give y'all some love, man, because mothers are a reflection of their parents. And, yeah, like daughters, correction, are a reflection of their parents. So you and your husband, Robbie, have done an amazing job. God bless y'all, man.
Thank you so very much. I truly appreciate that. And, we're going to keep on this path. And, hopefully we continue to get the acceptance letters. They're going to be very, very nice and happy about that. So thank you for that shout out, Chris. And recently, thank you for the interview that you did with me. A lot of people are actually texting me and hitting me up. They're like, hey, I just saw, this video. And so I'm like, okay, very cool. Chris is out there, doing his thing and promoting it. So if you all have not seen this video, the interview with Chris Gunther and myself, please feel free to look up his page and you'll be able to see that on YouTube as well. Thank you so much. Penny Thompson says, Chris Gunther, great interview with Robin. Good job. I enjoyed watching. We appreciate you. Thank you. Chris, I thought this specific topic that I want to start with today was a great one for you and I to have. You asked a question near the end of your interview with me, but I found out that you actually asked this question of everyone that you interview. If you want to tell me, do you know the question that I'm talking about?
I know exactly which question it is.
Let's tell everybody how because this is the setup of the conversation where we're going. What is the question that you ask everybody that you interview?
Who would you like to see me interview next on the Chris Gunther show? And if you have any contact, do you think you can help a young brother out?
I love it. He said, yeah, did you hear him? Okay, he said, okay, basically he wants to know who he should interview next. And if you have any contact to get him connected to that person, will you connect him? And I think it's such a bold question. I love the question. And you put yourself out there. And that's where we're going to go with this first conversation. Eva Marcille and Toccara Jones recently had a conversation about how they got onto America's Next Top Model. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to play that clip just because it's a little lengthy and I want to be able to talk about this. But the two of them separately, two separate people going on to this show, Eva, she saw that they were actually casting. The show was casting at the Lenox Mall in Atlanta, but she had to go to work. She didn't want to risk not going to work. So she didn't go up there, but she heard where they were going to be next, which was Indianapolis, if I'm not mistaken. She drove her car. She said it had a little donut on it and everything. She had a donut tire. She drove her car to the callbacks of America's Next Top Model. And when she showed up, they were asking her, where did we see you? Basically, how did you get this call back? Where did we see you? She says, well, I saw you guys at the Lenox Mall in Atlanta. And they let her in. And she wound up winning. She wound up changing her life for the better. She is now an actress. She does so many different things. Toccara Jones also showed, she actually did audition for this show, got denied to get a callback, but she showed up at the callback anyway. So the question is, when is the last time you risked looking dumb? You risked being embarrassed? You risked being rejected for a life-changing opportunity? I want to know from you, Chris, because you put yourself out there. I love that you do that. Do you feel just today, in today's day and age, with the height of social media that it is, people are trying to do too much for the sake of social media and to look like they're already successful, so people aren't trying anymore? Give me your thoughts.
Well, The first thing that I will acknowledge is chances make champions. And, life is all about going out there and seeing what's for you and what's not for you. If you're tired of your circumstances, go ahead and jump out there, because what's the worst they can say? All of us have been through some pretty traumatic things in our lives. And I'm pretty sure that the word no is not the most traumatic thing that you've dealt with. And I'm speaking from experience, because there have been several times I've jumped out there and said, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to push all of the chips to the table. I'm going to bet on me and see what happens. And by the grace of God, I've won a whole lot. Now, don't get it twisted, because I've been told no way more times I've been told yes. But all of the yeses that I've received, everybody is like, man, Chris, you really out here putting in that work. Well, it's because I got told no so many times. The way that I view it, I grew up playing basketball. I was pretty good, all that good stuff. Some of my favorite players were Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. And Michael had this one commercial where he said, I've missed over 9,000 shots in my career. My team has trusted me to hit the game winner, and I've missed a lot of times. And that is why I've been successful. A lot of times you gonna fail. Look at it I'll speak about me. I reach out to big-time celebs all the time, and a nice amount of them say, well, pass, we'll say no. But then I get people like Robin Ayers to do my show. Or then I get people like Stephon Marbury. And then I get people like D.O. Hughley that says, absolutely, let's go ahead and sit down. So it's all about your persistence at the end of the day. This, think about it. Eva traveled from Atlanta to Memphis on a donut tire and won. That goes to show you she was delusional enough to think it could work, and it actually did work.
Ooh, I love that. I absolutely love that. I want to tell y'all, I remember before, the reason why I keep bringing up social media is because I do think that it is a huge, huge problem for a lot of people who want to make it in the whatever industry. It does not matter what industry, but you want to make it in life. And it's hindering people because so many of us on social media are trying to portray as though we've already succeeded. We're already there. You want people to follow you. You want people to reach out to you with the facade that you've already arrived. And because of that, you are not putting yourself out there. You are not reaching out to people. You are not delusional enough to take your shot, because you're afraid of the look of it. You're afraid of the embarrassment or the rejection of it. And before social media, I remember, oh man, this brings back times for me. When I was younger, I was, like a young 20s, like in my early 20s. And I remember wanting a job in radio. Funny enough, I jumped in my car and I would drive to radio stations, and just with a resume, no kind of experience whatsoever. And I remember meeting one of the DJs who lives out here in Los Angeles. Back in the day, we would have considered him like a really, really big deal. And I remember meeting him in the elevator, and just the meeting of him in the elevator was it was a lot of inspiration for me. To kind of keep going. And I dropped off my resume. Of course, I didn't get anything. I didn't get any, an interview or anything. But I remember, Chris, making, I would look at the back of CDs, back in the day when we would buy CDs, and I would look at the company and say, and I would just look and see who was a part of the company, who was a part of making this CD and making this album. And I remember calling the companies and trying to talk to the people and just see if there was a job, see if there was something that I can do. But I was delusional enough that I would actually just put in a phone call and see if they would talk to me. Some people actually gave me a shot, and some people explained to me what it is that they did. And again, that was just enough to kind of keep me going, right? It kept me going. It kept me hungry enough to try to make another move. So again, I ask you, in your experience, do you feel, maybe you don't even associate with people like this, but do you feel like that is a bigger problem where people are trying to save face and they're not creating space for life-changing opportunities anymore?
The biggest challenge with social media is social media has become an illusion and a highlight reel, because you'll have people that are putting on this perception that they're really winning in real life, and they are significantly miserable behind closed doors. And one of the things I learned in this media space, just keeping it all the way real with you on the Raw Report, is not everything that glitters is gold, because there's a lot of jacked up publicists, it's a lot of jacked up managers and agencies that, they want you to think that they're really legit until you work with them and realize that they're full of, and I'm going to just leave that conversation there. And I just want to, highlight something that I feel like, the thing about me on my social media is I'm pushing out constant content, and I'm pushing out, actual things that I'm dealing with on the content side, because I want to highlight the inspiration, but I'm also showing the real grind of all of this stuff. And, I feel like one of the biggest dangerous things of social media nowadays is it gives people the voices that, probably were lame in high school. Nobody really liked them, or, they were kind of like the out crowd, and now they feel like they have a voice and it's significantly better than what it actually is. And it's jacked up, but that's the world that we live in. That's why I don't let the internet define me. The reality is I'm going to be me regardless. Now, I do know in this kind of media space that we're in, we have to utilize it, but Prince said it best. Use the internet. Don't let the internet use you.
Come on now. Yep. That's a good one. That's real good, Chris. You are on to something. Well, listen, I do not want to let this conversation go because, Andy, I actually want to hear from you on the other side. Andy and I were talking about some things and how we're risking it all for life-changing opportunities or for what could be something to open our eyes or expose us to more. I want to continue this conversation on the other side, but right now we've got news, traffic, and sports. You are listening to The Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay there.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Lil Rel Howery, and right now you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580. That's right, The Raw Report.
More of The Raw Report with Robin Ayers when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The Louisiana legislators' special session task of drawing up a new congressional district map for the state is complete. Lawmakers redrew the congressional map to include a second black majority district. The federal judge who said the previous map violated the Voting Rights Act will now have a look at the new one. Advocates in New York City are holding a rally fighting against the city's policy that limits the time that migrants can be in shelters. Members of the New York City Council will join other groups at Metro Baptist Church, which is just steps away from the Port Authority bus terminal. They're calling on Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams to reverse the policy on shelter stays for asylum-seeking youth and families with children. They say forcing families with children out of shelters can disrupt their lives as they reapply for another shelter space. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Sigler police activity involving a jumper remains blocking 3 middle lanes back in La Mirada on the 5 South at Valley View Avenue. Stop traffic continues from Firestone Boulevard up to 30 minutes. Over in Costa Mesa, a Sigler continues due to the connector of the 55 South to the southbound 73 remains blocked due to major potholes. A car fire is in 2 right lanes of Santa Ana's 55 South before Edinger Avenue, with stop traffic currently coming from the 5. And in Sunset Beach, Pacific Coast Highway southbound between Warner Avenue and Sea Point Street remains closed due to a SIG for severe flooding.
Shop the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Valid 1/4/24 to 1/24/24. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Chargers have scheduled a second interview with University of Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh. Harbaugh met with the Chargers a week ago at an undisclosed location. This could be an indication that the Chargers are moving closer to finalizing a deal with Harbaugh to be their next head coach. The Chargers need to get this done as soon as possible. Tampa Bay's loss at Detroit yesterday in the NFC playoffs means there will be no black head coach in this year's Super Bowl. Tampa Bay's Todd Bowles was the last remaining black head coach in the NFL playoffs with a chance to get there. Pittsburgh's Mike Tomlin lost in the first round at Buffalo. Houston's D'Amico Ryan lost in the second round at Baltimore on Saturday. Tomlin is the last black head coach to take a team to the Super Bowl. In 2009, he led the Steelers to a win over Arizona in Super Bowl 43. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do Black history every single day. In fact, as the only Black talk radio station west of the Mississippi, we are Black history. Our annual Black History Month luncheon is fast approaching, and we want to be sure to give you ample time to get your company, organization, church, or group to join us at this year's celebration on the last day of the month, Thursday, February 29th at noon. Last year, we honored iconic local Black media personalities, including Pat Harvey, Jim Hill, Mark Brown, Beverly White, Sandy Banks, and Pat Prescott, and raised $20,000 in scholarships. This year, we're honoring Black Hollywood creatives who have used their artistic genius as climate justice champions. At this year's luncheon, we will be showcasing and sharing their inspiring work on our big screen. Plus, a scrumptious meal, live music, great company, and lots of fun with your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts. So contact us today at info@smileyaudio.media.com or call 323-290-4690. That's info@smileyaudio.media.com or call 323-290-4690. We hope to see you Thursday, February 29th as we close out Black History Month. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black.
There's only a few days left for open enrollment, starting at $0 a month. LA Care Covered offers the benefits you need to achieve your health goals. $0 preventive services, 24/7 virtual care and nurse advice lines, walk-in minute clinics, free fitness and nutrition classes, and more. Become a member of LA's most affordable health plan. Get a free instant quote at lacarecovered.org. Have open enrollment questions? Connect with us today at 855-222-4239. Find your affordable path to wellness with LA Care Covered today.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Keeping you informed about what's really going on. Who's got next? And what not to miss in entertainment. You're listening to The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Man. Yeah. Understand this. Right. I realize this. Yeah. John B. Coco. Jigger. Understand what we trying to do. Keep it real live.
You are inside the Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580. I love Andy so much. This is the jam. And speaking of keeping it real, Andy, you are just this. The song is perfection from the Have Plenty soundtrack. If y'all remember that, that's a throwback right there. Shout out to John B and Coco from SWV and Jay-Z, who was on this track as well. That is a jam right there. All right, well, we are inside the Rob Report having a great conversation with our entertainment contributor, Chris Gunther, who's on the line with us. I feel like this conversation is so good. What's up, Chris? Okay, before Andy played that jam right there, and we were talking on the other side, I said that, we're in this conversation about risking embarrassment, risking looking dumb, risking whatever it is that you want to call it for a life-changing opportunity or for an opportunity period to be exposed to something new, to meet someone new. And I feel like far too many of us at this day and age are afraid to look like we've not been around. We're afraid to look like we're still climbing for better opportunities. And Andy, I know we're getting ready to move on to another topic, but I want to hear from you. I know that you have stories galore, but you want to talk about an opportunity that you took because you weren't afraid to look crazy, dumb, embarrassed. What?
Well, anytime I try to holler at the ladies, I took a risk in being embarrassed or whatnot.
That's true too.
You know what I'm saying?
Shoot your shot, brother.
You feel
me?
But I'll try to condense this story. But in the early 2000s or whatnot, I was going to the BET Awards literally almost every year from 04 to about 09. The first year I got in through the whole seat filler situation or whatnot. So, they always tell you to be suited and booted or whatnot. The following year, for whatever reason, I didn't get accepted, but me and my friends decided to still pull up to the Kodak Theater at the time or whatnot. And make a long story short, I knew where the seat fillers would go. We just followed the line, and we eventually got in. Did nobody check us, no paperwork or anything like that. The following year in 06, they changed venues from the Kodak Theater to the Shrine Auditorium by USC. Whole different setup. Didn't know where to go. Make a long story short, I got up in there again, but I made sure I went up in there suited and booted. You know what I mean? So each year I got in from 04 to 09. After the first year, just kind of finding a way.
Just finding a way. Just going up there. But the fact that you said, you know what, you at your home decided I'm going to get dressed up.
Yeah.
Knowing that there's a possibility you might not even make it in, but you still got suited and booted, dressed up, and showed up anyway. And each of those years, you still got in.
Absolutely. Where there's a will, there was a way. And I was definitely determined to get up in there.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy because after every show, I was like, man, I was actually up in there.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting amongst just legends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That was a great experience. 2010, I kind of got tired and I was like, I'm good. I'm going to just,
I've seen
watch
enough.
it on
All
TV.
right. Okay.
But yeah, where there's a will, there's a way.
Okay. Well, you know what? Shout out to Andy for shooting his shot and making it happen. And just, I just admire that so much. I admire that quality in people. Last thing I'll say is I know I'm talking about this conversation today, but I also am practicing what I preach because today I just I shot my shot. And it could very possibly be working out for me. I will keep y'all posted with some information in the very near future. I'll keep you posted. But yeah, I do believe in still grinding. It doesn't matter if you have a name for yourself. It doesn't matter if you are well known and people expect these things of you. I still believe in just putting that all to the side. If it's a life-changing opportunity, just shoot your shot. Just go for it and risk it all. Risk, looking embarrassed or rejection or whatever for the sake of a possible opportunity. Andy?
Even if it's a baby step.
Even if it's a baby step. That's a great point. It's a step is a step. So, thank you for sharing that story, Andy. All right, Chris Gunther, the one who be hustling out here. He's on his grind, and I love that. I love that about you. I want to, this is another great conversation. I want to pivot for a second. Recently, there's so much going on. Cat Williams had this explosive interview on Club Shay Shay. So many people were talking about it. Well, Dave Chappelle recently called him out. And a few people have called him out, and they said, you know what? How come the only people he's talking about are black people? 50 Cent, rapper and producer extraordinaire 50 Cent, recently posted a picture where he looks really good. He lost some weight or he's done something, but he looks really good. People all up in his comments, both men and women, coming for his neck. They're talking about, oh, he must be on Ozempic or he's this or he's that. And they're just clowning him when they don't know the story. He hasn't said anything about what caused him to lose weight, but people instantly just start coming after him negatively. I don't know what that's about. There's also another conversation, and we'll let you hear this piece of a clip from Marlon Wayans. Recently, I talked about how he is joining the conversation about black men who are wearing dresses, and they get clowned for that. But this is important. He says something that we're gonna use as the foundation for this next conversation. Let's take a listen to Marlon Wayans.
As we start tearing each other down, this is art and this is comedy. You think I'm gonna tear down Flip Wilson? You think I'm gonna tear down Tyler Perry? I'm not gonna tear down any of these brothers. It's comedy, and we should embrace our comedy, all of it. We shouldn't have one type of humor. We should embrace all of our humor. Every shade of black that is black, and it's beautiful. Minorities need to stick together and come together and really celebrate us. We have been taught to drag each other down. It's toxic. It is so toxic. I'm just not going to be a part of that. I'm going to celebrate.
He went on to mention how we've been taught, right? We have been taught. We don't know where. We don't know how to even pinpoint where this came from. How have we been taught to come after our own people when we all recognize separately as individuals? We all say, okay, black people were the most hated, disrespected. I know we say that about black women specifically. Chris, something is going on with your phone, but it's making like a little noise. I don't know what that is. But we make these statements, and so we talk about, promoting each other and getting behind and supporting one another. But at the same time, once we get online, we start coming for these people, and we seem to be the only ones who really, really do that. And I don't know where this entire narrative comes from. Do you have any idea in what that's about? Why do we hate each other? But in each other's faces, we say, "Oh, we support our people. We encourage you to continue to go." But then, maybe online or behind each other's backs, we continue to hate on each other or hate one another.
It's systematic. It was put in us at the very beginning of time. And it's beyond sad that here we are in 2024 and we're still dealing with the same issues and we're still dealing with the same problems. Mm-hmm. God rest his soul, but when Robin Williams was Mrs. Doubtfire, the whites didn't get on his back.
Right.
But as soon as Flip Wilson was Geraldine, as soon as Tyler Perry was Medea, Martin was Shanae, and, all of this other kind of stuff, there has been, now I will not lie, there has been a huge documentation on the black man having to look like a woman to get to his next role. And I understand the frustration behind it because historically, black actors or black actresses in general, they weren't given an opportunity. They always had the black woman playing the maid, or they always had the black man playing somebody like a Jeffrey from Fresh Prince. So they've always wanted to paint us in a humiliation type of thing. But and just being truthful, that's how they've always wanted to view us as. So now you have somebody like a Cat Williams who has always been very vocal about it. He's like, why do we as black men always have to do that to get to the next? Now, I will be the first to admit, if I was put in that position, I'm telling you right now, I am not putting on a dress to do an interview. I will not do it. I don't care how much money you offer me because I'm still a man that has integrity about me. Now, I'm not speaking down on Tyler Perry and Eddie Murphy because we've all seen the clumps. We've all seen Medea. That's how they got to where they are. Cool. But Eddie has went on to have such a big, phenomenal career. The first thing you don't think of is him in drag. But with Tyler Perry, he blew up because he put on a wig and was Medea. But you still don't knock that man's hustle.
Let me ask you a question about that, though. Does it feel like in order to become uber successful that you need, as a black man, that you need to go ahead and put on a dress? The reason I asked that, you just made a statement. You said, I will never do it, right? I'll never put on a dress. Someone recently sent me and I'm sorry I don't remember who it was, but a day or two ago, where it was a video of Kevin Hart in an interview years ago. He's saying, the interviewer said, will you ever put on a dress, for a role? Kevin Hart says, nah, like you gotta stop it somewhere. He was like, you gotta have some morals and basically boundaries. Fast forward, they cut to, I don't know what show this was a part of, but he came out in like a little wig and a dress. And it was showing basically that even Kevin Hart said, I once said, I'm not going to do that because I have standards, I have morals, and I have boundaries. But he wound up doing it, and now he has become uber successful. We can pinpoint all the people who have done it. And again, to the point that we're all making here, white people seem to accept it and maybe even, I don't want to say promote it, but black people seem to down it. What is that? What is that? What is that through line that we're seeing here where a lot of black men who choose to put on a dress become super successful?
I believe it comes down to what everybody wants at the end of the day. They want the money bag, and they want to get to the bag sometimes by any means necessary. I'm not saying that is right. I'm not saying that is wrong either. You know, everyone's situation is different, but there have been some bunch of other men who have been successful who did not say that I'm going to put this dress on to get to the bag. You know, there have been several big-time people. For example, I was watching a segment on The Breakfast Club with Snoop, and Snoop said they approached him about putting a dress on. He said, you got the wrong brother because I'm not doing it. And Snoop has still went on to have a successful career, but the reality of it is I truly believe that we as black people, particularly we as black men, most of the time we already have a lot of things put against us. So when we have all of that pressure put against us, especially in this entertainment space, they're looking to see, well, what else can I get away with that makes him feel special, that makes him feel comfortable? You know what? I got a perfect idea. I'm going to make him put on lipstick. I'm going to make him put on a dress. I'm going to make him act like something that he's not. And I'm going to pay him some money so he'll do it all over again. And I want to see how much I can get away with. And then you have somebody like Cat Williams that says, nah, I'm not going for it. Now, say whatever you want about Cat, whether you rock with him, whether you don't rock with him. This man has always stood his ground on what he believes in. You got to respect it.
Facts, all facts. Yeah, Houston, Texas says Marlon Wayans is speaking facts. And you know what? You have to at least respect what he's saying. Even if you don't agree with what Marlon is saying, you got to at least respect it. I do, certainly. I, for one, don't want to jump on the bandwagon. I don't want to say I'm knocking these men because it is there's all kinds of humor. And most times when we see a man put on a dress, you know, whether you agree with it or not, it's humorous, right? At least we can say that when we've looked at Martin Lawrence and he's Big Mama, or we looked at the Nutty Professor in Eddie Murphy wearing these dresses, or we looked at Jamie Foxx as Wanda in Living Color. I mean, we laugh at it. And so we tend to, I don't understand why we can't necessarily get past that I'm going to hate on black men for wearing dresses narrative. But Forrest Harrison says, historically, black men have always had to fight for our dignity and respect. And when we see a man willingly giving that up, it angers him, he says, but that's just him. Well, I don't know that it is giving up dignity to put on a dress. Now, I will say this. It could be, and I know we're pushing it. We got to end this conversation right now. But what I will say is if you had some sort of morals before, you drew a line in the sand saying that I'm not going to do it because of one thing or another, and then you wound up doing it. Well, now maybe have you given up your dignity because you used to believe in one thing and you haven't done it, and you went against what you said that you were going to do? Maybe that's another story. I don't know. Maybe that's another story. Chris, I'll give you the last word because we got to end this conversation.
This is what I would like to do, if I may. Robin, how would you feel if somebody told you, I want you to dress like a man to do your radio show, and I'll give you a couple million if you continue to do it?
I don't necessarily see that point, just because I'm not going to sit here every day and dress up as a man in order to do a show just to make millions, because it has no point. Now, if I'm doing a skit, if I'm on a show or something like that, and they're like, it'll be funny because it goes with this skit. Now I can that's something that I can possibly consider. But to sit here and do a show every day dressed up as a man makes no sense to me. Andy,
gotcha.
Yeah, Andy, go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
I know where Chris is going with that question, and I appreciate that question. I will say that our community, if that was the case, if the roles were reversed, I think it would be more acceptable. I don't think there would be much of an uproar with women dressing like men as opposed to black men dressing as women.
I agree. Chris, last thing.
I just want to say it's amazing how we still have double standards in 2024, but the reality of it is, you know, unfortunately, truth is like rain and it don't care who it falls on. I'm going to just leave that there.
Nice little bow we just tied on that thing. Okay, well, Chris Gunther, truly I appreciate you for calling into the Raw Report today, and I'm looking forward to our next conversation for sure. Oh,
man, thank you so much for having me. It's always a blessing to be on here continue to follow Robin, continue to support Andy and KBLA 1580. Peace and love, man. God bless.
You too. Have a great night. Well, when we come forward, we've got your Who's Got Next. I also want to read some of these comments because Houston, Texas says, Denzel ain't wearing a dress. All right. We'll have your Who's Got Next on the other side. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, I'm Damian Young. I'm chilling with Robin on the Rob Report.
You're inside the Rob Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because no two people sleep the same. Only the Sleep Number smart bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort, your Sleep Number setting. The Climate 360 smart bed is so smart it actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side for your ideal sleep temperature. The Queen Sleep Number C2 smart bed is now only $9.90. Plus, free home delivery when you add any base. Ends Monday. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Around here, we don't believe in victimhood. We believe in raising our voices, amplifying black voices in the climate conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because no two people sleep the same. Only the Sleep Number smart bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort, your Sleep Number setting. The Climate 360 smart bed is so smart it actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side for your ideal sleep temperature. The Queen Sleep Number C2 smart bed is now only $9.90. Plus, free home delivery when you add any base. Ends Monday. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside the Rob Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Okay, we have to continue this conversation. Can we even get to the Who's Got Next? Because I have something that I need to address here, y'all. We might have to save it for tomorrow. I'm not sure, because at the end of that conversation, Pretty Brown Mimi over here in our YouTube made a really good point. Something that I believe hasn't really been we haven't narrowed in on this particular thing. She says, it's not humorous to me. It's a man portraying a negative character of black women. To me, that maybe rounds out the whole point. Maybe that is the point. Maybe it's when we see black men portraying negative characters of black women. I get that. Lavelle says it's a two-sided coin. A woman has recently also said that when black men wear dresses, it's a negative image of black women. Pretty Brown Mimi says Shanae and Wanda would portrayed as unattractive black women. I didn't find the portrayals funny. Forrest Harrison says, I was so disappointed when Wesley Snipes did that movie Dressed Like a Woman right after he did Nino Brown in Passenger 57. I was about 25 years old and I kept asking everybody, why did he do that? Very interesting. But even according to you guys voting right now, there's a question over in the poll that says, does it bother you when black male actors dress as women? 2% of you right now say that it does not bother you. But I did take it upon myself to pull up this list of all the black men who have dressed like women. Marlon Wayans and Shawn Wayans in the classic movie White Chicks. Kevin Hart, it was SNL that he dressed up like a woman and he had on, a little wig. Dave Chappelle, I didn't even realize that. Dave Chappelle actually, this is years ago at the beginning of his career, dressed up in a dress. Eddie Murphy in, of course, The Nutty Professor. Ricky Smiley is another one. Hadn't realized that he did that. Jamie Foxx, as we know, Wanda. And that's right. Wanda was absolutely portrayed as an unattractive black woman. Miguel A. Nunez, that's another
Joanna Man.
in Joanna Man, absolutely. Chris Tucker in The Fifth Element, or his character Ruby Rowe in the futuristic film The Fifth Element. Wesley Snipes, that was mentioned. Tu Wong Fu, Martin Lawrence, of course, in Big Mama. Arsenio Hall in Coming to America. Tyler Perry, of course. Flip Wilson. It goes on and on. So I guess maybe if we look at all of those examples and we can kind of pinpoint who is portraying an unattractive black woman or some sort of negative portrayal of a black woman, maybe that is, in fact, the issue. Andy?
Real curious. I know we only got a little bit of time, but I'm curious to know if these portrayals of black women were attractive, would it be received positively, or is it the whole unattractive aspect? I'm just curious to know if that plays into it.
Well, this is the reason we have to continue this conversation, because I think that it's something that I just want to get down to the bottom of. I don't have the answer right now. This was a good conversation to start off with Chris Gunther. So I definitely appreciate Chris for calling in as our contributor today. But we're not done, and I'd love to hear from you guys. Pretty Brown Mimi, thank you for giving me that one thing to think about. The negative, unattractive portrayals that we see. That is something that could be the leading of this next conversation that we'll have. You guys feel free to jump in on the conversation. If you have anything, any revelations, feel free to jump in on the conversation at any time. As always, I appreciate you guys. Make sure that you like and share and follow and subscribe and all of that good stuff to our videos. We definitely appreciate you, and we're right back at it again tomorrow. But right now, you already know the voice of Williams with Zoe Williams, or the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. He's up next. You guys remember, today and every day forward, be a blessing.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The youngest son of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has died at the age of 62 after his battle with prostate cancer. King held various titles throughout his years, including being a graduate of HBCU Morehouse College. He later took on the role as chairman of the King Center to continue the effort to protect his family's legacy. In a statement, the King Center says, quote,